Bienvenuti everyone, I'm Ariel with Urbanist. This is Rome, Italy. We are in the Esquiline Hill to visit one of the oldest basilicas in all of Rome, the Eternal City. This is a beautiful area that I am just exploring today right nearby the Colosseum. And I can't wait to show you this magnificent Basilica de Santa Maria de Maggiore, one of the oldest basilicas in all of this magnificent city. So let me know where you're watching from and let's walk into Santa Maria de Maggiore. Hello Taro, hello Marlene, and look how gorgeous it is. Now you'll be surprised when I tell you how old this is. It looks brand spanking new, at least new in the context of history. You know, maybe it's 1700s. No, we have to go way further back. Hello Andreas, hello Mandy, hello Amanda, hello Marlene, hello everyone. So as I mentioned, I'm doing Facebook Lives every single day, but along with the historical Facebook Lives that I do at 3 p.m. Rome time, 9 a.m. New York City time, I'm also doing random Facebook Lives, especially when I bump into amazing landmarks like these and I just have to go live to show you. Let's go back to the early 400s. Rome is in a bit of a massive shift. It's about to split into two distinct empires, the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. Eastern Roman Empire headed up by the first major Roman emperor, Constantine. First major Christian Roman emperor, Constantine. Now, right in the early 400s, something mysterious happened. Early winter on the Esquiline Hill, a huge storm covered only this particular area. Nowhere else in Rome was hit by this storm. And the remnants of this storm was that the Esquiline Hill was completely covered in snow. Right in this area of modern day Rome, right by the Colosseum, in the very grounds of where this church ended up standing. Now this was very odd because, as you know, weather, as you know, any snowy place, if you've been to New York City before, you probably are very well familiar with snow. It's kind of odd to have snow hit just one particular neighborhood, but nonetheless it happened. And the Pope of that time came over to the grounds of the Esquiline Hill and marked in the snow that this was deemed a holy place. And thus they built one of the 4 papal basilicas in all of Rome, Santa Maria de Maggiore, Saint Mary the Major. This was the very first major structure dedicated to the Virgin Mary. And if you know your Christian religions, you know that the Roman Catholics worship Mary almost as high ranking as Jesus Christ himself, unlike the Protestant religions, which they don't tend to really hold Mary in such high esteem. So I told you wouldn't believe how old this church is, because this church goes way back to that time that we mentioned when snow hit this very ground, 432 AD. Look at that. Now, this was finished construction in 1732, but the majority of the church, the nave, dates back to 432 AD. Let's walk inside. I won't be talking too much inside because they want silence, so I'll respect the silence. But I'll do my best to tell you a little bit of what we're seeing as we go inside. So prepare yourselves. And again, it really helps when you share these videos with Facebook groups or with friends and family, so we can get more people tuning in to these beautiful explorations of the Eternal City for 2 weeks. Once again, let me show you the surrounding area. Marlene, architecture from way back history and still standing, just amazes me. It really does. All right, let's go inside, and I'm gonna be a little bit silent for a little while, so just stay in awe. Wow, this is absolutely magical. Look how long this nave is. The scale, even though the video is doing a pretty good job in capturing the scale, luckily this lens is pretty wide. It's truly massive compared to most other Roman Catholic churches in this beautiful city. So the nave itself dates back all the way to 432. Now there's some modern, well not modern, but additions made in the 1600s. So here we have a canopy very similar to what we see, or we're going to see tomorrow inside St. Peter's Basilica. This one is a little bit smaller, but same style. Now, why is there a canopy? Well, these canopies are people canopies. They designate where the Pope actually sits during masses. Now, there's 4 papal basilicas. That means there's 4 different basilicas in the city of Rome, which the Pope visits. Basilicas all around the world, there's usually one per city. But Rome, of course, being the center of Roman Catholicism, has more than one. Now, the interesting thing is the gold on the very top. That's all gold plated. Now, according to some accounts, they say that the gold comes from the very first voyage of Columbus, coming back from South America, bringing gold from the Amazon to Ferdinand and Isabel. And that gold was transferred into the Pope, and he ended up getting his hands on it and using it as the gilding from the very top. Now, all around we have these beautiful murals, some of the oldest depictions of Virgin Mary. Here's the death of Virgin Mary, usually depicted in her classic blue and pink clothing. Now, these mosaics are the also magnificent works in that typical Byzantine style that was innovated in the Eastern Roman Empire during that same era. Marlene, I'm so happy you're able to tune in. Right down here we have a beautiful painting of Mary giving birth to Jesus Christ, her son conceived by Immaculate Conception. And right up here we have these beautiful mosaics that depict different moments, scenes of the Old Testament. One of them is Melchizedek offering bread to Abraham, the King Melchizedek offering bread to Abraham. Now, I can't go inside because I'll lose reception if I go downstairs, but I'll show it from up here. This was an area installed in the 1700s, one of the newest additions of this church. 1700s is very significantly older than anything in New York City, and even in the city of London and Madrid, which we visited before. But for 1700s, this is fairly new. Here we have a depiction of one of the popes. So this is the Chapel Borghese, and this was made by the Borghese family, one of the richest families that have ever lived in Rome. They are known for the Galleria Borghese and the Villa Borghese, which we're going to visit on Saturday. But there's actual church, actual mass happening right now, and there's mass constantly happening in this church. Hey Robert and Kay, I'm so happy I'm bringing you memories. Welcome. Now they all left, but when I came here earlier, there were various priests sitting in these booths, and these booths are divided up to different languages. So people come here from all around the world to make their confession, and the confession here is open, unlike kind of the churches in America, which they tend to be closed confession booths. But here they designate the languages and they put the times where you can have confession. Here they have Italiano, Espanol, Spanish, and Portuguese. Names of popes that helped build this church, one of them being Pope Sixtus V. always look up. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Rosalind. Wow. Helen, absolutely beautiful. Good morning, everyone. So happy people are tuning in very, very early. I know some of you are watching from North America, so thank you for tuning in. I'm glad I have people tuning in even from New Zealand. This time is actually perfect for many of you oceanic viewers. Domes, the dawn, the Rome, they're all around. So Robert, was that mummified body? Yes, it was. It was a mummified, well, not mummified per se, but it is, I would say it's preserved. And usually when there's still skin on the corpse of a deceased religious figure, Christian, Catholic figure, according to lore, they say that that person was of a very high level of ascendance or transcendence. So that person was very spiritually awakened. That's what they say when you still find skin on the body that might be more than 100 years old. Sometimes there's skin on the bodies that are 200, 300 years old. How? According to science, sometimes it's difficult to explain. There's a few reasonable scientific explanations, one being the glass enclosure that they use, and it being room temperature controlled. But sometimes it's a bit hard to explain how they still have skin on their faces many hundreds of years later. So here's the confession booths. Oh, that's fascinating. So there we see a triangle with an eye, a very Masonic symbol. is very interesting. It's always very interesting seeing those Masonic symbols, these paintings. Now, there was a few painters that were commissioned by the Roman Catholic Church consistently that were Masons. Not sure, maybe that's one. So right here we have St. Francis of Assisi, who is deified in a lot of these churches all around Rome. You can see here he suffered through the stigmata, which means he went through all the same types of wounds that Jesus Christ suffered through during the crucifixion. Assisi is held in very high esteem because he's the founder of two major orders within the Catholic Church, one of them being the Capuchin friars and the other one being the Franciscan friars. There was kind of a schism after his death because he left no will or kind of rule book, unlike Saint Ignatius, who did leave kind of a set of spiritual exercises. Good morning, Curtis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tour is happening here. Here's a tour in Portuguese. Pro tip, in a lot of these major attractions in Rome, they actually have these sets of things to see all video of the history of the places, and you gotta only pay €2, but I think it's well worth it. €2, they have about like 15 minutes ish of video. Really great at explaining all these churches that you might visit and might not know the history about if you're not, if you haven't watched all my videos or haven't seen one of my videos in a while. That might be very handy. Let's go this way. So here it is one more time. Basilica Papal de Santa Maria de Maggiore, the Papal Basilica of Saint Mary the Major. That was amazing. So thank you everyone so much for watching this mini Facebook Live through this beautiful basilica, among the oldest basilicas in all of Rome, probably also one of the oldest churches of all of Rome as well, dating back to 432 AD, which is around the time when Christianity was starting to be accepted in the Roman Empire as the Roman Empire was falling, and there was a schism with the Eastern Roman Empire being set up in Constantinople. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. You'll be seeing me later on today at 3 p.m. for a tour of not Santa Maria Maggiore, but Santa Maria Rotonda, which is the Catholic name for the Pantheon. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. If you want to lend your support, click the link in the description below and you'll get access to a 360 video of this basilica that will be posted after this trip, and plus other mini videos. One special video posted yesterday of a very particular crypt where we talked about Capuchin monks. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. Ciao, amici.